Sup Shredders, my name is Logan aka Spiderhands and welcome to an SP Reviews where today we're checking out a track from an act named Laura Leal titled All For Yourself. Now this features a Ricardo Gordo on guitar, so if we switch over to here we have ourselves a track on the screen on YouTube and we're going to listen through it through from start till finish and we're going to hear what we think. Let's go. What do we got? Definitely hear the guitars. Interesting change in tone between the two sides. With like a synth pad in the center. It's very peaceful, isn't it?
You crucify souls who beg at your feet, hungry hands always reaching.
Beautiful vocals.
Blind to reality, you stand with cups overflowing. Glorified their narcissism, gaining all with nothing. Offer yourself, taking it all until there's nothing left. Offer yourself.
Great vibrato.
All for yourself. It's the fate
Distortion now.
falls upon those who have flown too high, too close to the sun, marred by the heat of dreams they built on greed alone. Glorified their narcissism, gaining all with nothing given.
There's like a break there at that halfway point, just a gap without development there compositionally. I adore it. There's no filler in this track whatsoever. The vocals are so powerful, whether in that slightly softer for the verse and the build there after the vibrato and that sort of legato rise, and then bam, distorted guitars coming in, or the overdriven guitars. It's powerful stuff, man. Nice tip of percussion coming as well.
Bleeding, it's your right to feed your needs and no one else but your selfish and dying. Taking it all until there's nothing left. Slave to self-righteousness. Taking it all for yourself. All for yourself. Self-indulgence, cruel compulsions, blind ambition, life to live and taking all until there's nothing left. Oh, yourself.
Great head voice.
Bleeding and trying to feed your needs and no one else but your selfish intent. Taking it all until there's nothing left. Slave to self-righteousness with desire to possess. All for yourself. All for yourself.
Yeah, tremendous. I wanted to talk more during that. I wanted to pause occasionally and discuss things as they occurred. Like, I love the wide range of different sort of drum chops and grooves we had there, or the various sort of vocal harmonies, the vocal responses we had, or any of the guitar riffs that were occurring, as well as the bass piano bits. But I just didn't get the chance because there was very little space to really kind of pause within that. And that's not a problem. That's good songwriting. But we'll talk about that in the conclusion. Because this is the conclusion of my review of this track by Laura Leal featuring Ricardo Gordo, titled All For Yourself. What do I think this track's about? Well, it sounds like it's talking about someone who is clearly quite sort of self-focused, self-absorbed, and they're talking to you as if you're the self-absorbed person and how you're taking everything you can for yourself, without even considering how it's affecting other people, without kind of giving and taking, etc., and the pain and the destruction that is causing. It's, there was love involved, you took that away, you took the person for granted, and clearly that's not good. And I mean, there's obviously more nuance to that, but basically the story was compelling from start to finish, especially once the vocals did come in after that generous instrumental intro. And I think there's a lot of people that are going to be able to relate to it. They're going to be able to go, okay, yeah, no, I understand why we're singing about this. I understand how this track relates to me. There's a lot of people that probably relate to it. So in that respect, I think the story will gather an audience for it. I think the vocals on top of that were tremendously passionate. We had great vocal technique, head and chest voice was nailed, nice use of legato and vibrato passages as well, alternate lead tails with harmonies coming in as well to really kind of boost the mood of it and kind of rise it up, and just, it's tremendous. I'm stoked with it. I think that they handled themselves really well, and I don't think there was a single complaint I really have about the way things were done there with the singing. Obviously the singing was a focal point of this track, and luckily the backing of the track was also to the same kind of level, so you didn't have to worry about the vocals being the only focal point, if that makes sense, and a track that's longer than that 4-minute mark. But, yeah, really good. It seemed authentic and genuine, like they really cared about what they were singing about. And the reaction and the way things were joined together it was very logical and rational. And basically, outside of the vocals and the story that was being told, I just think that this track at 4 minutes 23, it's a good length for what it has inside of it. It has that really generous instrumental intro coming in with the guitar parts as well, and then obviously we have more instruments as we move along, like the guitar's doing kind of going backwards and forwards between the stereo field with like that synthy kind of pad layer in the center, then the basses and the drums and the pianos coming in to sort of fill it up and give it a bit of oomph, especially when the overdrive distortion comes in on those rhythm guitars. It's tremendous, and it's a really great build up compositionally in regards to songwriting that's tight. And we just, the vocals were the icing on the cake. The themes that we had there were some exotic sections there, a lot of tension and drama in the theme there, where there was a da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da, that kind of melody played between the twin guitars there, or the power chords with that kind of 80ish kind of ballad format kind of tone to it. Or any of the other steel string arpeggios, or the piano playing chords in that mid-range, focusing on the triads and kind of highlighting those, with the bass down that low end, fully kind of supporting the root notes and kind of keeping things very kind of like well grounded and well balanced in that area. And the drums, obviously, with the different grooves we had there, kind of playing the chops and making things more or less kind of interesting rhythmically, depending on what's needed from like the intensity of the vocals and the other instruments and the arrangement. And ultimately the theme that comes from all of that is one that really does, it's kind of like a sense of trial and tribulation there, like you're putting a person on the stand and asking them to basically answer for their mistakes, their deviations, their sins, the sins of being so sort of self-absorbed and narcissistic. And I think that theme makes sense with the lyrics, and it makes sense with the vocals. So everything is quite well connected, and I don't think there was a note out of place. The performance across the instruments was really competent. Again, Ricardo Gordo on the guitars nailed it. Love the variety of different riffs there. Great choice. Finally, we had ourselves a studio recording, the mixing and mastering, which I think was really well handled there. It was easy to tell where everything was in the mix, from, again, the different vocal takes, to the guitar parts, the double track guitars, to the basses, the drums, and the pianos. And I mean, if I'm completely honest with you, I get the impression that really, we understood from the start what we wanted to accomplish with the combination of these different elements, how they amalgamated together. And there was absolutely no filler. Because of that, you know, like, we didn't need to worry about any resonant frequencies because things were really stacked well across the frequency spectrum. Things were nice and wide in stereo field with playing between the two sides off the bat with the different guitar takes. And, you know, like, we kept it nice and big for the listener throughout. So it sounded like we were surrounded by the song. And then, you know, the vocals were nice and clear in the mix with a bit of reverb, a little bit of filtering EQing as per the rest of the instruments, so that was sorted as well. But, you know, whether they were the double track parts or the single parts, you know, we recorded enough that we needed to really, you know, not overwhelm the listener, but keep things engaging and exciting throughout. And then finally, there was dynamic range to it. The things weren't being squashed in terms of the perceived loudnesses and stuff. There were changes in energy levels throughout. The leveling of the instruments was pretty good. And it was nice and loud without pumping, so limiting compression was handled well. I mean, this is quite a positive review of this track by Laura Leal featuring Ricardo Gordo, titled All For Yourself, and hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, please do go show some love via the various social medias and the YouTube page, and stay cool and stay safe, and please remember to support your local musicians and artists at this point in time, as they help more than ever with all the crazy stuff going on in the world, and I will catch you in the next review. Spiderhands out.